Hello and welcome, my name is Clown, and as part of my day-to-day clownery, I sometimes think about stupid shit. And one of the things I've never thought about is what it would be like to direct adult films, because, it's a very no-touchy type of job, so I just kind of not, I wouldn't deal with it too well. However, you know what, here's a game that dares to answer that question for me, and I decided, fuck it, why not? So, Spooky Starlets is a game that is halfway between a visual novel and a simulation no longer deck builder game. And I say no longer because this is one of those rare cases of early access, this type of H game that actually has had meaningful change over the length of its lifespan so far. So that's actually where I want to start off, actually, which is the actual simulation part of the game. So it's actually been simplified heavily, which I do love because it used to be very annoying and it still is kind of annoying. However, basically how it works is you have two different pools of cards. You have your event cards and your starlet and position cards. And, well, the starlet cards kind of speak for themselves. They're the actual women that are going to be cast in the AV. And then the position cards, they're position cards. Think about what kind of positions you would see in an AV, and it's probably going to be there. However, it does have a bit of a unique twist that you do have foreplay cards. Laid cards is actually the S word, but I don't know how much that affects the chance of my video getting age restricted, so I'm just going to say the laid card and then the finisher. And you got to do it in that order. And then you've also got the event cards, which those actually, one, they let you bypass the order of foreplay, laid, and end. So that's kind of cool. They can also swap around other cards, or they could add or take away from the production value because you have certain goals that you have to meet while you're filming. And then that's basically it. The only point to filming is actually just to rank up your girls so that you can then get the scenes with them, which I don't know how many girls there are. I think there are 8, and 6 of them have their entire story complete so far. And there's 5 pieces of story that they each get, and each piece has lewd stuff in it, which is pretty awesome. I mean, there's like a little over 30 scenes, lewd scenes in the game right now, which is pretty cool. However, these scenes are a little bit more than just that because they're presented to you as the second type of gameplay in the game, which is the visual novel aspect of it, which I guess isn't really, gameplay because you just watch it, but basically, yeah, it's a visual novel, and you don't interact with anything, and it is really cool, though, because it has voice acting for the most part. A lot of it is voice acted, which is always really awesome. I like to have that, and actually, you know what? I'll put some examples of the voice acting right now.
I'm watching the birds. They do funny things like fly around and fight over nesting space and stuff. They don't fuck much, though.
Yes, well, I suppose you have a point there. Given all of our run-ins so far, I do feel more comfortable with you anyways. You did very good. Get some sleep and a long hot soak. We'll see what you can do tomorrow. Yeah, I have to get ready for the show, boss. Talk later. You have such a way with words, hon.
Okay, there you go. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. I personally think it's pretty decent, especially for the kind of game that we're working with here. And in terms of what the actual stories are, they're not going for anything too serious for the most part. They're kind of like goofy little stories that are going on where the characters have some very strange problems happening. Like you have one with a character called Lucy Lovette, who her entire thing is that she's an S, and she gets Uno reverse carded, and so she literally goes on a 3 scenes training montage before she then conquers the man and takes her place as S again, And then there's another one with a girl named Francine Fangs who lives in the shadow of her older sister, and she tries to get some of the more experienced actresses to help her train, and so they do, but then she gets mad at them because she feels like they're just making fun of her, and then she participates in the fucking decathlon and loses, but still ends up feeling better for herself. And honestly, I think the best one is Susie Stitches, who is a literal fuck machine, and she wants to feel like a little bit more than that, so she ends up trying a bunch of different things like, role playing and being a detective, and she notices that she always ends up getting laid. So it's an interesting one, interesting little stories. And now we get to the good stuff. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the we're going into the splash zone now, and I would say in general I'm not the biggest fan of how everything just kind of like looks in terms of like how it's drawn. Like sometimes they have like weird looking faces. Their faces look a little weird sometimes. Sometimes their like proportions look like they're being like stretched in weird ways. However, overall it's still really good. I do like it. It's very, very well done. Also, it's also voice acted, meaning
That's it. Ram that huge fucking brick into me. Mama needs her pipes cleaned.
you hear it all, and they're doing lewd voice acting, and lewd voice acting is literally like its own entire thing that some people get off to. So now you have visuals to accompany it, which makes it just even better. And honestly, despite what I said earlier about the drawings looking a little weird here and there, overall it still looks really nice. I do like how it looks, and a lot of the scenes have the girls in some very nice positions, and you even have one where you have more than one where it's actually two of the girls together, which is always really nice. I would like to see a little bit of Yuri action here and there. So yeah, honestly, I'd say it's a pretty decent game overall, honestly. Like even for H standards, I think it definitely hits a higher mark than most of the games I'm used to talking about, because usually most of them are kind of not amazing. However, it does also have the advantage of being a visual novel, so those tend to have like higher quality, assets when it comes to at least art and stuff like that. But yeah, honestly, decent game. Would I recommend? Maybe. Would I break an egg? Potentially. Or maybe I already have. I don't know. But that's all for me, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.